Guitar Heroes, Eric Andreas, your Guitar Sage here. Friends, let me ask you, are you frustrated with your blues vocabulary? When you try to play major blues, does it sound goofy and you're trying to bend and you're hitting all the wrong notes and all when you're bending you're just not getting to the place that you desire and it just sounds weird? Or lastly, do you just want to increase your chord vocabulary? Do you want to have all those tasty licks that you hear Stevie Ray Vaughan and B.B. King play and that sort of thing? Friends, if you answered yes to any of these, you're in the right place, because today I'm going to show you why many rock players have a hard time playing blues. They just can't play the blues. And I'm going to show you 3 habits that are actually going to undo this for you. I'm also going to have a jam track, and I'm going to show you several different positions that you're going to be able to work. And I promise you, when you get done with this, you will be playing major blues. Even as a rock player, you're going to get this, okay? Now, let me stop very quickly, because I know right out of the gate somebody's going to say, what are you talking about? Don't play the blues. I'm talking about authentic blues, not rock blues, okay? I know there are a lot of great rock players out there that can play the blues, but, and just give me a chance here, because I promise you I'm going to prove this to you, they play a lot of minor blues, okay? And I'll get into that here in just one moment. But friends, if you're new to watching my videos, then welcome. Glad to have you. Please hit that subscribe button and hit the notification bell if you want to be notified about more of these videos. I have about 1,000 of them here on YouTube, and I give away thousands of dollars worth of guitars and courses away every single month. So I want to notify you, and that's the way to do it. And by doing so, you're going to let me know that you appreciate these videos. All right, let's get on with the lesson. So I mentioned to you that many rock players can play the blues, but in fact, many rock players can also not play the blues. And this is why it is. Country players, they don't have a problem playing the blues. Rock players, they do. And I'm talking about authentic blues. And here's why. It's because authentic blues mixes the major and minor blues, major and minor pentatonic, major and minor scales even sometimes, okay? And what happens as rock players, take it from a rock player. I mean, I grew up listening to Iron Maiden and Van Halen and Ozzy Osbourne and all these guys, right? Rock players that knew how to play the blues scale, Zeppelin, same thing, but 9 times out of 10, it was in a minor key and they were playing minor blues, right? And so that's how we grew up playing, right? You learn that form 1 of minor blues scale, right? It goes like this, right? And some guitar teacher or one of your buddies shows this to you and they say, man, now you can play the blues. And you're like, oh man, that does sound bluesy. And you learn Stairway to Heaven or something like that. And you're like, look, that's all the blues scale. And indeed, it is all the blues scale. But then this happens, right? Then all of a sudden you hear a 12-bar blues progression. 12-bar blues, a typical 12-bar blues is a 1-7-4-7-5-7. You don't have to know what that means, but essentially it's all major chords, okay? There are no minor chords in it. So the minor blues works over it. It does work over it. It's just a weird little thing about blues that you can play minor blues over a major chord progression. It just is. Just accept it, okay? But what happens with rock guitar players like myself and other people that grew up just playing that one form, or even if the other forms of it, you can learn all the other forms, it's all the same notes. But what happens is, if you're centering all your notes, all of your phrasing around these minor sounding licks, you can only say so much. So rock players end up leaving a lot on the table because they don't learn this, okay? They're missing the quan, because the quan is mixing the minor and the major blues. Now, I know what you're saying to yourself right now, Eric, I've tried this before. I've tried playing the major blues. It sounds like poo-poo. Trust me, I know. The first time someone introduced me to playing major blues, I said, well, I don't like that sound. I'm a minor sounding person. I'm a minor player. All the songs I like are in a minor key. That's not true, but a lot of them are. And so what happens is your ear gets attenuated and your fingers get attenuated to playing certain licks because they're centered around a minor key, okay? That's our problem. How do we fix it? So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you several different patterns, go-to patterns that you can use all the time that are just filled with major blues bits. And when you can jump back and forth between these bits, it's just a great thing to do. Another problem that blues players run into now that I'm thinking of it, is that you learn the major blues, right? You learn the minor blues, and then someone says, like me, like I've got videos on this on online, and it's 100% true, but it's only part of the puzzle. Is you say, well, okay, well, this is minor blues, right? And you say, okay, well, to play major blues, the only thing you have to do is move it down. Move your pinky to the A, and now, right? That sounds like major blues. Sounds kind of country-ish, just the scale in and of itself. And then you say, okay, well, I know that, Eric. And then you go around, you mess around with it, but it still doesn't sound right, right? Okay, here is why that is because we're thinking to like, okay, minor, okay, now major, okay, now minor, now major. And it just sounds like that, especially as a rock guitar player, okay? What country players know is that you gotta mix the two. It's this little bit of sauce here and there, okay? So here are my top 3 things, and I'm gonna be reading this because I wanna make sure that, that I don't miss a darn thing, okay? So, and I'll give you the remedies here. Stop playing the minor blues form if you're like me. If you're a rock player and this resonates with you and you're like, dude, I know what you're talking about. That's me. Okay, stop playing the minor blues scale. Just don't play it anymore for a little while. Why? Because it's your crutch. It's your safety zone. And you got to get the hell out of your safety zone if you want to improve as a player. When you're in your safety zone, you're not growing. So every single lick you play, yeah, you're making yourself feel good. I'm looking good. I'm looking good. That's fine if you want to show off for a minute, okay? But you're not growing. I promise you're not growing. You're growing in your minor blues, which we're trying to get out of, trying to get some more maturity here to our playing, right? So, number 1, stop playing the minor blues scale. Just don't play it. But Eric, what will I play? I'm going to show you some things. But if you leave a void, and this is with everything in life, if you leave a void, then that void is a concern to you. You're out of your comfort zone. Now you got to fill it up with something. Don't fill it up with a damn minor blues scale. Don't do it, okay? We're going to learn some other stuff. So that's number 1. Number 2 is mix the major and minor blues. Learn some major blues licks, and I'm going to show you some bits and pieces on this today, okay? And number 3 is know what's happening with the chords, okay? Because there are certain chords that this works better with over others, and it's important to know that, and we'll talk about that. In fact, let me just jump to it straight away. When we're talking about blues, we have a 1, a 4, and a 5, okay? You don't have to know what that means, but essentially the root note of the chord is related to the major scale. So if we're playing A blues, like just now, like what you just heard, we're playing A7, D7, and E7, okay? And the A is the 1 of the major scale, of the A major scale. If we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, then the 1 is the A, okay? The 4 chord is the 1, 2, 3, 4 is the D, or we're playing it as a D7. And the 5 chord is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's an E, and so that's an E7, okay? That's why we say 1, 4, 5. So when you're playing the 1 chord, okay, this is something that your ear will get attenuated to, or you're looking at a chart like I have inside the Unstoppable Guitar System. I have these jam tracks like you're going to hear, except it's going to go ahead and have the chord with it. In fact, maybe I'll even do that for this video. Hopefully I'll remember that. Put it in my memory. Okay, there it is. So the 1 chord, you can use a lot of major bits and pieces over it. The 4 and the 5 chord, you can use more minor stuff, but that 1 chord definitely wants to hear some major stuff there. That being said, you could use these licks pretty much over everything, okay? Because, and here's why. This is the little weird thing. Trust me, all these bits and pieces that I'm telling you are pieces to the puzzle. You gotta know them, okay? Here's the deal. When we're playing a major 1, a major 4, and a major 5, my friends, we're in the major key. We're not in a minor key. We can play minor blues over it. It works. It sounds great, okay? But we're missing a lot if we don't start throwing in some other notes. What are those other notes, Eric? Those other notes are the major 2, the major 3, and the major 6. They're straight out of the major scale. So if we play our scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, if any of this is going over your head, take my free course. The link's in the description of the video. It's there for you to fill in all of these spaces, okay? It's like the top 30 lessons I teach all my students. important for you to have just the basics at least, okay? So here we are, I'm playing this major scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. And we were playing just the minor pentatonic. We've got those 3 notes in there. We don't even have to play the whole major scale. We were just playing major pentatonic. We've got, or you may know it as different forms of it, right? Well, here's the 1. Here's a major 3. Here is the major 6. And we don't have the 2 in there, okay? So we would have to play the major scale to find the 2. So, but it's there. Those are the 3 notes. Now, don't worry about that. If all of that is Greek to you, it's okay. Hang in there, because I'm going to show you ways to do this where us rock players who don't really think about music theory that much can get away with this, okay? But I'm telling you, some music theory will aid you. It will help you. It's not going to stifle your creativity, I promise. Okay, so with that being said, let's talk about a couple ways that you could play some licks that you're already playing, and it's going to make it sound major. It's going to introduce these new licks to you. You could just go straight to the major form here and start noodling around in that. And I highly suggest you do that, okay? There's some great stuff to work through there, and just using your ear and improvising and using your ear and going, oh, that note's wrong, nope, that note's wrong, nope, that note's wrong. That allows you to know which notes are right, just like Edison, actually Tesla, but Edison, who said he went through 10,000 pieces of something or whatever, filament and that sort of thing, to actually find the filament for the light bulb. Thank goodness Tesla, Edison, kept going and doing this, because doing so, it's actually Tesla, right? He actually found the filament, okay, for the light bulb. So each failure that you do when you're playing these notes is good, okay? You're finding out what it is that you need to play. So do that, okay? So do this, definitely. But let me show you. So a lot of times when we're playing blues, you know, let's say we're playing the form 1 of the blues scale, right? Well, the 3 notes that we need are hidden right in there. This guy right here, that's the major 3, because when we're playing a major chord, we can throw that guy in there. Okay, we've got that little, okay, normally we're not used to playing that. Also, instead of pinky pinky right here, do third finger, third finger. So now you still have your tonic, you have your safety or your period at the end of a sentence, right? Instead of going, now you got this major sounding lick. And you can always bend it up to that minor third, that's great. But that's the first one there, is literally. Now, after my little lesson here, I'm going to have a jam track for you, and I want you to noodle around with this. Noodle around with that guy, okay? Another fun thing that you can do is if you were sliding up, say, into the second position here, you know, normally you got this little minor part here, right? You go. Right? Nice minor bluesy stuff. Now, instead of doing that, you've got this note. Sounds weird, but not when the 12-bar blues is playing. So you can do little odes to it, or little like tip of the hats, if you will, like. And what I'm doing there is I'm taking the minor third, playing the major third, and going. And because, look, when you're bending this note up, you're tipping your hat to that major blues anyhow. Right? You're doing that anyhow. So here, you're just giving it it's bringing in a new lick for you, okay? You could also, that's our A, that's our 1, right? Another thing you could do is instead of playing You can do this thing like a, because you're resolving on that one and you're playing a few major notes there. This is going to start bringing that sound in for you, okay? And then I'm going to show you one other pattern here that some call the BB box, right? And when we come up into this third position here, right? Now, technically, that's the minor version. And if you're playing all your licks there, you're going to be like, well, I sound like crap, right? That's right, because you can only get so much out of there. And if you don't throw in some of these major spices, then you're just not going to sound complete. It's just not going to be complete, right? You complete me. And so the major blues completes the minor blues, and oh, it's true love. So here's a fun little bit here, is that if you treat this like B.B. King did with what's called the BB boxes, he would do something like this. He would go, he would play this guy instead of first finger, pinky. Instead of playing like first finger, pinky, he would do like, he would hit that note. And then also instead of the pinky here, he'd hit this third finger right here, okay? So he'd go something like this. Also, there's a lot of good and right there. That's the 5. Yeah, that's the 5. He would do that a lot, so. Okay, so now what's cool about this note is number 1, that's your A, that's your 1, your tonic. And so now you throw that note in there, we're throwing some major spice in there instead of always coming up to this note. It's cool. I love those licks. We wanted to make it more minor. But and you can bend this note, so if you want it to sound a little bit more minor, then you bend that into the flat 3 right there. Now, friends, all of these bits and pieces here, you just gotta noodle with, okay? You just have to do it. But take these slowly, take them one at a time. Use this jam track, all right? Now, friends, let me ask you this. That's it for this lesson. Did you enjoy this video? Because if you did, please hit thumbs up, and I want you to leave your comments below. Let me know, are you one of those rock players that were running into all this stuff? I'm sure you are, otherwise you probably wouldn't have clicked on this video. So leave your comments below, and please, friends, hit thumbs up. That's sharing, that's caring. In fact, share this video. That would also help me to make more videos, keep the lights on here, do all that stuff. So by doing that, friends, you're letting me know that you appreciate these videos, you appreciate these free videos, okay? Now, I know some of the stuff that I talked about today went over some of your heads, right? There's lots of people out there on the internet. So there's people up here, there's people down here, and there's people down here, right? And I wanna help you out. That's why I created a free course for you. It's the top 30 lessons that I teach all my students here in Nashville. Literally, if you came here right now, I would teach you these top 30 lessons, cost you about $1,000, and it would take us about 30 weeks. Otherwise, they're there for you for free. Click of the mouse there in your description of the video, right? Now, for those of you that are like, dude, I'm ahead of all that. I know all the basics. I promise you, still take the course, because I promise you I've had folks in there that have been playing for decades that say that's a magical course and I'm learning so much in it. Those first 30 lessons, believe it or not, because they left a lot on the table. But those of you that are like, dude, I know what I know and I don't need any basics, and you just want to go straight to the good stuff, I've got lots of stuff here on YouTube. Search Your Guitar Sage Blues. But if you want, you can actually get into my program for $1. If you want to try that out, we'll put a link inside the description of this video, and you can get in there and you can trial it. You can go straight to the blues section. It's literally over 1,000 videos, over 600 jam tracks, Have fun, my friends. Dig in. I promise you, you're going to learn a lot. So that's it for this lesson. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Would love to help you with any of your guitar needs. I'm very passionate about helping the world. I'm very passionate about guitar, and I want to help you. Please let me know how I can do that. Leave those comments below. I check those comments all the time. And as always, be kind to all beings. Do the right thing, always. I'll see you in the next video. Practice your guitar.